Please record. Sir, would you again, for the record, state your name?
Lawrence Roseka.
And Detective Roseka, just one more time, your occupation.
I'm employed with the Volusia County Sheriff's Department, assigned as an investigator to the major case unit.
All right, sir. You realize you're under oath from the first swearing and have been every time you testify?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. You recall that you had testified before this jury previously of having taken a videotape statement that extended over nearly 3.5 hours of the defendant, Aileen Wuornos.
Yes, sir.
There was some inquiry about whether or not the entire statement was videotaped. Would you tell the jury whether or not it was?
Yes, sir, it was.
Was there anything except for her private conversation with a lawyer that was not on videotape and audio tape and as part of the exhibit that has been marked as an exhibit with the court?
Everything is covered, yes, sir.
Okay. Did there come a time that when you were talking to her early in the conversation that she gave you some general statements that you could not attribute to Mr. Mallory particularly, but which she attributed virtually to all of these 7 men she killed?
Yes, sir.
Did any of those statements deal with her motive for killing him?
Yes, sir.
All right. Could you tell the jury what she told you regarding her motive for killing the men, including Mallory?
In tape number 1, when she was talking, she advised that she didn't really know why she killed him, but that when somebody gave her a hassle, she would whip out her gun and give it to him. She said that in her heart she didn't really want to kill him, but she knew that she had to so that she wouldn't leave a witness, because if she did, then she'd get caught.
Objection, Your Honor. May we just have a small conference on this issue?
All right, sir.
With apologies to the jury and to everyone. I think it's significant. Oh, sorry, Judge.
Well, you want to conference here with yourself? Narrow this down a little bit. Did she give you a statement that you felt applied to Mr. Mallory with regard to her motive for shooting?
Yes, sir.
And what did she say? The answer may be the same.
Yes, sir. The answer would be the same, what I just said. In reference to her motive was that she didn't wish to get caught when somebody hassled her, that she took out the gun and she killed him, and that she wasn't going to leave a witness, because if she did, then she would get caught.
No further question, John.
You may inquire.
No question. No question, sir.
All right. You may stand down, sir. We declare your next witness.
They would call Jenny Eager.
How do you spell your last name?
A-H-E-R-N.
You may proceed.
Ms. Herham, if you recall, you were previously sworn. Counsel with stipulation is necessary to requalify the witness.
Stipulate, Your Honor, no need to requalify.
Ms. Herham, you've previously been qualified as an expert in fingerprint identification. I'd like to ask you, ma'am, if previous to this date you had an occasion to work with state's 7 Bs for identification, which purports to be a judgment and sentence of Aileen Carol Wuornos for the crime of robbery with a deadly weapon.
Yes, sir, I did.
Can you tell, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what you did in reference to the judgment? Does it contain what are known as the rolled fingerprints of the defendant, Aileen Wuornos?
Yes, it does. On page 2 of the judgment and sentence form, there is a set of 10 fingerprints on that page. Those fingerprints were compared by myself with the ink fingerprints that I took of Miss Wuornos, and they were from the same individual.
For the record, could you please identify the individual from the initial roll prints that you took from the defendant with any individual that is present in this courtroom?
Yes, it's the woman sitting at the front table with the tan colored jacket on.
Identify Ms. Wuornos.
May the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant, Aileen Carol Wuornos.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state at this time would offer state 7B for identification as state's evidence in this cause.
No objection, Your Honor.
Let the affidavit proceed to our member.
Thank you, Your Honor. Counsel, a stipulation that publishes to the jury.
Yes, Your Honor, what is called a deadly weapon on the document is a handgun.
Yes.
Please, our man, Madam Clerk.
Your Honor, to please the court, I understand the counsel has no objection to the following exhibit. It states 7 C's for identification. Purports to be a, we could call a gold seal related to lack of the restoration of civil rights of the defendant, Aileen Carol Wuornos, in the state of Florida. We'd offer it as evidence at this time.
No objection, Judge.
The affidavit proceed to our member.
Your Honor, may I publish what has been introduced in evidence that states 127 to the jury by announcement?
Yes, sir.
To please the court, the defendant has been identified to the judgment and sentence of Aileen Carol Wuornos in case number 81-1498-D for the crime of robbery with a deadly weapon, which was a handgun, a first-degree felony on April the 29th, 1982 in Volusia County, Florida. Your Honor, with the court's permission, without objection, counsel, and I publish. Also, Your Honor, as of August 6, 1991, from the Office of the Executive Clemency of the State of Florida, Janet Keel certifies that Aileen Carol Wuornos had not had her civil rights restored in any manner in the state of Florida to possess a firearm. I publish this to the jury.
Yes, sir.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
You may inquire.
Ms. Ahern, you're not aware of the circumstances surrounding that previous offense, are you?
No, sir.
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
He's willing his right to be discharged.
She may be discharged, Your Honor. Thank you.
You may stand in the department. You are one of the rules of the case.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Would you please tell the ladies and gentlemen your full name
Officer Susan Hanson,
and where are you employed, ma'am?
Volusia County Department of Corrections,
In what capacity are you employed in?
a corrections officer,
How long have you been with the Volusia County Corrections Department?
23 months.
Were you on duty on or about January the 18th, 1991?
Yes, I was.
Can you tell me whether or not on that date you came into contact with Aileen Carol Wuornos?
Yes, I did.
Could you describe where you were, where Ms. Wuornos was when that contact was made?
We were in medical segregation.
What was the purpose of you being there at that time?
She was on a constant watch at that time, and I'm not sure of the reason, just she was in medical segregation at that time.
Now, did there come a point in time where Ms. Wuornos began a conversation with you?
Yes.
Was that conversation initiated by you in any way?
No, it was not.
During the course of the conversation, was it primarily a one-sided conversation?
Completely.
Did you sit? I'm sorry.
I was instructed not to initiate conversation with her in any way, and I did not.
Can you describe where you were and where she was while this conversation was taking place?
She was in a cell that I was sitting in a chair just like this right next to a glass window that is in front of this cell, and she stood at the cell window the entire time, not more than a glass width away from me.
Can you describe Ms. Wuornos' demeanor during the course of this conversation, and approximately how long did it take place?
Objection, relevancy, Your Honor. It doesn't go to the aggravated factor.
You want that again, sir?
Yes, sir.
Second order in a minute, please.
She was very animated, very laughing, joking, talking the whole time, just completely animated the whole time.
During the conversation that you had with Ms. Wuornos, was it a conversation that covered many subjects?
Yes.
I'd like to try to have you, if you can, to relate your discussions you had in regard to Ms. Wuornos' reasons for killing one of her victims, Mr. Richard Mallett.
Objection, Your Honor.
Second order.
Could you repeat the question?
Okay, I'd like you, I understand that this conversation covered many subjects, is that correct?
Yes, it did.
I'd like to discuss in particular Ms. Wuornos' reasons, if any, that she gave you for killing Richard Mallett.
Well, she did discuss that at times she didn't do this to rob people, but then at one point she stated that after she had killed, she had thought about quitting, but she decided that she had to pay the bill, so she needed to continue to do this.
Objection, Your Honor. Motion from Ms. Thomas.
Motion is denied.
Eighth Amendment grounds, Mayor.
You may proceed, sir.
Did she indicate to you whether or not she'd taken items of property, such as a radar tech?
Yes, she did.
Did she indicate to you during the course of this conversation, approximately how long did it take place?
Approximately, I'd say 3 hours, possibly 2 or 3 hours on and off.
At any time during the course of that conversation, did she suggest to you that Richard Mallory had attacked her or raped her or done anything to her to provoke an attack?
No, not specifically, no.
Did she indicate to you what efforts she had gone to make sure that Mr. Mallory could not testify against her?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
During the course of the conversation about Mr. Mallory, did she indicate whether or not it was her intention to kill that individual when she pulled out her gun?
Objection, relevancy, Your Honor.
Overruled.
At one point, she said, when she said this man fell down and he said, "I'm going to die, oh my God, I'm dying." And she said, "That's right, motherfucker, so what?" And shot him again, a couple more times.
Nothing further, Ron.
Can I have the court's indulgence for one moment, Judge? Thank you, Judge. Is it sergeant or deputy?
Officer.
Officer, I'm sorry. Did you prepare a report in conjunction with this incident?
Yes, I did.
Did you bring that report with you today?
Yes, I did.
Can you just pull it out for a moment? When you prepared that report, it was much closer in time to when the conversation with Ms. Wuornos took place, was it not?
Yes.
And that report is dated 1/18/91?
Yes.
And you tried to accurately reflect in that report what you had heard?
Yes.
Do you recall indicating in that report that Ms. Wuornos told you, "Sure, I shot them, but it was self-defense"?
Yes, it states right here.
Do you recall saying in that report that she said to you, "I've been raped 9 times in the last 8 years, and I just got sick of it"?
Yes.
Do you recall indicating in that report that she said to you, "So I got this gun and was carrying it around"?
Yes.
Do you recall her saying in the report, "Shit, if I didn't kill all those guys, I would have been raped a total of 20 times, maybe killed. You never know"?
Yes.
Do you recall indicating in the report that Ms. Wuornos had indicated that she had been with thousands of men?
Yes.
Did you say anything about her demeanor in the report?
I'm sorry?
Did you say anything about her demeanor in the report?
No.
You testified she was animated.
Yes.
Did her mood change during the course of the conversation at some point?
Yes.
She became angry.
Sometimes, yes.
And then would she become animated again?
She was continually animated, moving her hands the whole time, very expressive when she was laughing or when she was angry.
Okay, so she would laugh and be angry during the course of the same conversation,
Yes.
correct? And her mood would change during the course of the same conversation, correct?
Yes.
She'd be up and down in that sense, right?
As in depressed?
Not depressed, but in terms of her mood change. She'd go from one to the other during your
Yes.
same interaction with her.
Yes.
You know why she was in medical segregation?
No, I don't.
Is there a mental health unit at the jail?
It would be there. We have one mental health unit for the men and one for women.
Is that where psychiatric patients are housed?
No.
Where are psychiatric patients housed?
We don't house female psychiatric patients. A true one that's been diagnosed as a psychiatric patient would be taken to ACT.
Before they get diagnosed as a psychiatric patient, while you're still checking them out, where do you put them?
On the unit?
On the unit where Ms. Wuornos was? right?
No, on the female unit
And where was she?
in medical segregation.
Is there a female unit to medical segregation?
Both men and females go in there if there's a reason for it.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at. That's where she was, in medical
Yes.
segregation.
That's the only maximum security area we have for females.
So when you have a female that's facing serious charges, would she be classified as a maximum security prisoner?
Yes.
And when you have a female who is classified as a maximum security prison and you want to check out their mental health, you would put them on the unit where Ms. Wuornos was, right?
No.
Where would you put them?
You would leave them where they are. To check out their mental health, they could stay where they are. I do not know why she was in medical segregation at that time.
You leave them in the cell to check out their mental health?
Until they are diagnosed by the psychiatrist or psychologist.
And then they move on to the medical unit for a while, right?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Lawrence?
Officer Hampton, counsel asked you if Ms. Wuornos claimed it was self-defense when she killed all these guys. I believe your answer was yes, it was.
She stated that in my report. She stated when I shot him, it was self-defense.
So every single man, she claimed that every single man that she killed, she did it in self-defense.
This is the statement she made. I don't know if I understand.
You don't know the truth of whether it is, but that's what she said.
That is what she said. But
Is there anywhere in your report where it reflects that Aileen Wuornos claimed that any of these men raped her?
she did mention rape one time. That she thought he was going to rape her.
Thought he was going to, not that there had ever been a completed rape.
No, no,
Not with any of the men she claimed to have killed in self-defense.
no, correct.
She described man after man to you that she had killed, did she not?
Yes,
She described a missionary.
yes.
Objection, Your Honor, that's leading. No objection to what did she describe?
Did she use the term missionary?
Yes,
Did she indicate that she thought maybe he might try to rape her? So she killed him?
yes,
And she talked about a guy with 45?
yes, she did.
Did she indicate that she hadn't seen the 45 until after she killed him?
Yes,
Objection, Your Honor, Williams rule grounds not relevant.
You're up to 8.
Request for curative instruction, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Let me borrow the last question and answer. Anyways.
did she tell you whether or not her girlfriend knew anything about what she was doing?
she told me she did not know about these.
Did she tell you what her attorneys would say if they found out she was talking to you?
Objection, Your Honor.
Judge, there was a question, did she tell you anything about what her attorneys, how they would feel?
Objection, Your Honor.
Did she ask you not to say anything to anyone?
No, no, she never said for me not to tell anyone.
Did she ever ask you if you would have to tell anyone?
Yes, she did.
Did you respond to that?
No, I gave her a non-committal answer. I was instructed not to discuss things with her.
Towards the end of your conversation, did she tell you how it made her feel to kill Ms. Richard Mallory?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
She stated that after she killed, she sometimes got upset because she killed so many guys that she, like, I feel guilty, you know. Other times I'm happy. I feel good, like a hero or something, because I've done some good.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
You may inquire.
Officer, you didn't say anything about any views regarding an attorney in your report, did you?
I'm sorry?
You didn't say anything about any views regarding an attorney in your report.
I don't understand the question.
In your report, you didn't put down anything about talking to Ms. Wuornos about a lawyer.
Talking to her about a
Yeah,
will?
her talking to you about a lawyer.
She stated just that her attorney was going to be upset for telling me this.
And she never asked you not to tell him what she told me, right?
She did not specifically ask me not to tell anyone.
She was saying all this stuff to you that you're testifying about in court today, and she never said, by the way, I don't want you to tell anyone.
No.
But she told you that her perceptions were that Mallory was going to rape.
Yes.
And she said that she believed that the other guys were going to rape her.
She didn't specifically mention each person as the reason I killed this person was because he was going to rape me.
On page 1 of your report, you talk about he was just like those 2 ministers who had raped that 14-year-old girl.
Right.
That's not about Mallory, is it?
No.
It's about somebody else. That's what she perceived.
That's what I perceived?
That's what she perceived when she was with these guys, according to what she told me.
Possibly. I don't.
And she was in the medical unit.
Yes.
Oh, that moment, Your Honor? Nothing further, Your Honor.
Sure.
Officer Hampton, she was in the medical unit because of high security, not for any medical reason.
Objection, Your Honor.
Rephrase your
Do
question.
you know why she was within the medical unit when you...
Asked and answered. The witness said no, she did not know.
Finish the question, I'll rule.
Did you observe anything about her that indicated to you that she was undergoing any type of medical treatment at that time?
No, she was not.
And that area is used for high security people, is it not?
Objection leading, Your Honor.
Sustained objection.
Do you know what that area is used for when it comes to these female prisoners?
It can be for segregation for security purposes and for medical reasons, but
You're not aware of any medical reason that was being used for Aileen Wuornos?
Objection, Your Honor.
correct.
Thank you, nothing further.
There are high security prisoners in other parts of the jail, right?
Yes.
They're not all put in the medical unit, right?
Yes.
And there are people with problems who are put in the medical unit, right?
Yes.
And you're not an expert. You would not know one way or the other why somebody is in the medical unit.
Right.
You would just know that they are there.
Yes.
Nothing further, John.
Nothing further, Your Honor. Is this to be released?
Yes, sir. Ms. Mills?
Witness may be released. Thank you, ma'am.
We didn't charge, you are under the rule mandated, you're not discussed.